Hello, everybody. Welcome to a connection that we do every week on Sunday at 12 o'clock. It's consciousness and energy of the week. We do this connection because we allow ourselves to set our mind to expand our awareness and to align ourselves with the energy that is happening and is available for us in the universe. And my name is Julia Bernatsky. I'm the founder of Untamed Hearts, and I'm the co-founder of Conscious Life Collective. And our guest today is Michael Ocher, who is a Kabbalah teacher and a spiritual teacher, and also a Theta healer. And together, we're going to connect and guide us through what is happening in the universe. And today's conversation is about what works in our lives and what doesn't, and how do we know what works? Because sometimes what seems to be positive in the beginning may not be necessarily the best thing. And so we also can talk about love and certainty, and it's just a very positive, powerful energy, and it's really, really, really important to align ourselves with it. So with that, I'm going to pass it to Michael.
Awesome. Thank you, Julia.
Yes.
Welcome, everyone. Everyone watching live, everyone who's watching it in the replay. So I'm one of the Kabbalah teachers at the Kabbalah Center. Our goal in the center is to elevate consciousness, to help anyone interested to connect with the wisdom of Kabbalah and see how they can use it to really transform and change their life. And in one word, what Kabbalah is, it's more about love, more about acceptance, more about unity, more about oneness, and to remove the biggest problems of humanity, which is intolerance, hate, disagreements, war, chaos, and suffering. So, and every week we have a different opportunity. We have a different opportunity, a different ability to change ourselves, to elevate, to grow, to become better, to have a better experience of life. Kabbalistically, you should be having an amazing experience of life every day, every second of your life. And if something isn't, if it's not going that way, that means we can always change it. It's always in our hands. Nothing is set in stone, that it's not changeable and it will be that way forever. But everything is in our hands. And we use the ancient texts, which is the wisdom of the Holy Book of the Zohar, and also the astrology, what month we're in, to find out what can be coming up in this week and how can we grow. So this week we're still in the month of Aquarius, an amazing month, very positive, very uplifting. My teacher, Rav Berg, shares that in this month, we can probably achieve the highest form of transformation that we can achieve in any time of the year, because it's all about freedom. It's all about freedom from different addictions, bondages, false beliefs, false emotions that we worship and we connect to throughout our lives that only limit us. And this month, especially this week, is the peak of freedom, the peak of ability, the taste of freedom that we can achieve. And, obviously it all sounds good. It's really interesting. It's who doesn't want to be free? It's an interesting idea, right? What binds us? What makes us not free? What makes us, quote unquote, a slave of something, whether it is of a person or a situation or a practice or a belief, etc. What does that? So I heard a very interesting idea from I think he's a psychologist, and he was telling people that were addicted to smoking, and they wanted to quit, but it was difficult for them. But what he started to do is just to be more curious about it. He didn't tell them to stop. He didn't tell them to do any of those things. He wanted them that every time they take a cigarette, they start to be curious and start to ask themselves, why am I doing this? Why am I picking up a cigarette? How is it serving me? What do I need it for? And eventually, people started to come to a place where their need for cigarette completely disappeared, and they actually started to be disgusted by it. Now, what happens? Now, we can, by the way, we can start doing this in our life. It's very simple, right? All it requires is awakening of your consciousness, nothing else. And that's really, Kabbalistically, that's all that really is required usually to change and transform, is shifts of consciousness, shifts of beliefs, removal of ones that don't serve, and installation, you can say download, of the ones that do serve you. So what started to happen is people started to be more conscious, more and more aware, more conscious of why I'm doing a certain action. Whether it be, some people are addicted to food, some people are addicted to pornography, some people are addicted to cigarettes, drugs. There's so many different addictions. We're addicted to people pleasing. We're addicted to people, right? We're addicted to being accepted by a different person, loved by a different person. Nothing really in this physical reality can give you freedom. Freedom does not come from outside. It comes from within. It comes from the within. It comes from understanding that I am whole, I am complete, I'm not missing anything. Nothing in physicality is gonna make me better. It could help me be the best version of myself. For example, should you stop eating if you eat too much? No, obviously not. But you can ask a question. Why am I eating this? Right? Why am I eating this fourth or third piece of cake? Does it really serve me? Does it help me in the highest and best way? Or is it just because I am feeling like a kid that needs to be satisfied and needs to have their needs met? So being more aware is probably the biggest gift a human being can have. Awareness, mindfulness, being conscious of life, conscious of why certain things happen, is the biggest blessing that anyone can ever have. The biggest. There's nothing better than that. Nothing better than being aware of why things are happening, why this is bothering me, why that is bothering me, why certain things are helping me be the best version of myself and certain things don't. Now, also, so that's an amazing idea. I highly recommend for everyone to start doing it, just to be more conscious, just to be more aware. And there's another great, in Wisdom of Kabbalah, we learn a lot about asking questions, asking yourself questions. Being more, it also makes us more aware. Questioning is more aware. And obviously being open-minded, right? You never want to say that I'm closed-minded to something. You always want to say, even if something is completely against everything that you ever thought is right, don't say it's wrong, it's not right. Say, that's an interesting idea. That's interesting. Use the word interesting. Your mind is awakened by that word, interesting. It's curious. It starts to be wondering. It starts to be in wonderment, that's an interesting idea. But also we want to understand where we are heading towards. What kind of state of consciousness, of emotions, of being is a state that you want to be reaching towards. Now, everybody is different. Every single human being is different as a fingerprint. There's no such thing, and we have to celebrate individuality. Individuality is very important. One of the biggest problems of communism in Soviet Union, for example, was that everyone had to be identical. Everyone was the same, leveling. And it's actually very interesting that Kabbalist Rav Ashlag compares it to what happened in the Tower of Babel. They actually also wanted everyone to be identical. Everyone wanted to be leveled. However, that's not something that's true. Because every single person is very different, very unique. Someone wants to be an artist, someone wants to be a project manager, someone wants to be an accountant, someone wants to be a performer, etc. There's different desires. They have to be fulfilled. They have to be celebrated. However, the state that you're going after, the kind of a plank, you can say, what you want to reach towards, is a state of peace and a state of love. Those are the most highest forms of consciousness that a human being can achieve. A sense of peace, total tranquility. what a lot of people, for example, that are addicted to anything, what they assume that that object or that practice or that behavior will give them is more a sense of peace. It's going to give me more peace. I'm going to have a cigarette. I'm going to be peaceful afterwards. It's very interesting. Also, a side note that there was a study about, this is dedicated to anyone who's smoking, I guess. So if you have any heavy smokers, send it to them. There was a study in Finland that did also about smoking and found out, okay, so what do people really want? Why are they smoking so much? The act of breathing is the calming effect on the body. When you take deep breaths, when I take deep, good breaths, my mind starts to relax, my body is relaxing, and become more and more peaceful. So what they were going after has nothing to do with the tobacco or the smoke or etc. What they wanted to do is a meditative practice to calm down. So actually a substitute for smoking is meditation, or any practice, actually, any addictive behavior. Any substitute for addictive behavior is meditation, mindfulness. So what we are going after whenever we want to be fulfilled quickly by that quick behavior is a sense of peace. A person that is in total state of peace and freedom is not going to be controlled by those physical or emotional substances. He's going to be able to completely be in the space of peace without the need of external forces. That's true freedom. Unless you can do that, you are chained to something. And there's nothing wrong with that. By the way, we're all addicted to something. I have addictions. We all have addictions. That's normal behavior. That's why we're here, to change and transform, to remove them. But it is exciting. It's very exciting to know where we're heading towards, to know what we are, what we can accomplish, what we can be, who we can be, how we can achieve it, etc. And the other state is obviously love. Love is the purest form of the Creator's energy. That's what Kabbalah teaches. Unconditional love of the Creator is the purest form of the Creator. And it says that until we start to practice more and more love, life will not really change and transform. Life will not be different. Until we are all, for example, I heard this yesterday from my teacher, Karenberg, beautiful lesson, that you would not hear me right now if there was no air in this room. And obviously computers, etc. But if there was no air, if it was a total vacuum, it wouldn't, the sound wouldn't travel. Meaning there's vibrations, right? The vibrations caused by my mouth are reaching the microphone and then reaching your speakers, and then you hear me. However, if there was no air, that would not be possible. It teaches us about vibrations, that we're constantly vibrating at different frequencies. And you can constantly change what vibrations you're vibrating on. The vibration of love is the purest, best, healthiest, quote unquote, vibration you can experience in this physical reality. There's nothing pure. That's why everybody's most people are after finding someone who they can love, who's going to love them, after relationships, after having kids. Kids bring a lot of love, etc. After meaning of life, that brings a lot of peace. But we're constantly vibrating on different frequencies. And we are in control of what frequency I'm vibrating on. If I'm vibrating on the frequency of need, of something is missing, and that outside force, physical object is going to satisfy that, that's a false belief. Nothing outside of you can help you feel peace, tranquility, and love. It only comes from within my heart, from within my soul, from within my consciousness. And awareness, this understanding, and there's just a simple switch, like turning on the light in a room, that, you know what, I really don't like this person. They are judging me, I'm judging them. There's a million reasons why we can dislike so many people. You can dislike everyone and find amazing reasons. It's the truth. You can find endless reasons of why to dislike certain people. However, it's a choice. It's still a choice up to you. Am I still going to dislike them, or am I going to have tolerance? Am I going to have acceptance? And you know what? Eventually I want to switch to elevate to love. I don't want to be stuck in this critical mindset of looking at the bad. Because You always have a choice of what are you going to look at. Are you going to look at the positive and appreciate it, or are you going to look at the negative and be in this kind of swamp that's just going to keep swallowing you and drowning you? And the funny thing is, when you talk bad about other people, when you judge other people, when you are critical of other people, when you are hateful and resentful of other people, it actually doesn't affect them as much. It affects you. You are the one that's being affected. Karen Berg also used to say a beautiful quote: what's the punishment for jealousy? What's the worst thing about jealousy? Jealousy. Means you're never going to be happy. You're continuously going to be jealous, and a lot of people are jealous, right? It's a very human trait. If you're jealous, that's a punishment. There's no cure for it. You're just going to be stuck with it. It's a swamp. It's just going to keep sucking you deeper and deeper into it. So if you're jealous, but by the way, a lot of people are jealous of partners. A lot of people are jealous of money, of success, etc. The funny thing is that being jealous has absolutely no purpose besides maybe a motivation and inspiration to be like that person. That's the only thing you can get out of it. Because there is a good side to jealousy, Kabbalistically, that if I see somebody and I'm jealous of them for whatever, for their character traits, for their abilities, for their wealth, for their success, etc., I can, instead of being jealous and just saying, I want that, it's like a black hole, just sucking it in, I can say, no. You know what, let me look, let me see, okay, what kind of attributes does this person have? What helped this person achieve whatever it is that they achieved? And instead of focusing on the bad, that I'm missing it, think, how can I activate these abilities? How can I have these qualities within me in order for me as well to achieve this state or whatever it is that I'm so jealous of? So it's so many, obviously we can keep talking about it, and jealousy is definitely a strong prison. By the way, not to put it in a bad and dramatic way, but also addictions are a form of prison. It's a form of limitation. It's a form of you being limited from your full abilities, because every single person is so talented. We have so many abilities, so many capabilities, but whenever you start to follow after your addictions, you are only limiting yourself. You're preventing yourself from reaching your greatest self. So that's a little bit about this week. Julia, do you have any?
Yes. So I think it's a big topic, and we might have to have a separate conversation dedicated to it. But feelings like jealousy, like you said, it's a huge thing, and it happens with every one of us, and it happens at the moment we don't even suspect it's happening. Sometimes we're not aware where that uncomfortable feeling is coming from. So but if you see another person experiencing it and it's obvious to you, is it a good or a bad idea to point it out?
If you see someone else having jealousy?
Yeah, it could be people who are close to you and you really do care, and you see like, well, what you're saying might be coming from that place. Is it a good idea to share it with them? Is it a good idea to...
I think it is.
Yeah.
Obviously communication is an art, right? How you communicate. And probably the best way to address it is, first of all, to ask for permission, as always. If you feel like the person might not be so comfortable with hearing your feedback, or actually, to be honest, it's always good to ask for permission. Would you like to hear my opinion? Can I share with you something that I see, that when you see it also, it doesn't always mean it's true as well. What's good to do is to start a conversation. Instead to say, listen, I see it. That's what I think. What do you think? To have an open discussion, not to have a closed-ended statement that you are jealous and it's preventing you from living a better life. And that's it. How would we feel if somebody told us that, right? Depends.
Yeah.
Some people are actually very used to criticism, so it would be normal for them. However, it's not the right way, not the best way. There's good and there's better, and then there's even better. So the best way to give somebody feedback is, first of all, to ask for permission, to ask them if they're interested, to definitely be coming from not a critical place, but coming from a place, the intention I want to have is to help this person. and then have an open discussion, not a closed-ended statement that you have this, right? But to have a discussion. And in general, the more we practice softness, kindness, and the more you come from love with all these things, the better it's going to be, right? The easier the experience is going to be. And also, don't expect people to change. If you are expecting, that's another prison. A lot of people are in that prison. A lot of people have this addiction that I'm expecting somebody to change. I'm expecting, the best way to tell if you are ready to stay in a relationship that a person is in is to say, if this person never changes, they remain exactly the same as they are right now, would I stay with them? And that's the easiest way to tell you that yes or no, if this relationship is for you or no. Because if you cannot accept the person as they are right now, without any change, that they are not going to change, then it will work. If you're ready to accept them. If you're not ready to accept them, it's a great tool to understand that, this might not be the best thing for me, and move on. Don't stay with it. Don't let it don't let a relationship be a swamp. Relationships are huge addictions, probably the biggest ones. Because a lot of people assume that being with a person or be a certain person is going to make me happy, or a relationship is going to make me happy, etc. And it's very. I'm not discrediting it or saying that it's bad. It's just to be more aware of it. The more awareness I have towards that, I am looking for someone to make me happy. Boom. I'm putting a roadblock to finding someone. That's what you're doing, basically. It's not that it's bad. Everyone is meant to be with someone. Everyone is meant to find somebody. But there are certain thought processes, beliefs that are going to help to speed up this process, accelerate the reunification of these two people. And there's certain processes that are going to keep it as it is, or, separate or make it even longer. Thinking that this person is going to make me happy, make me content, doesn't help. It slows down this process. The more I feel content, understand that I need to be whole, I need to be full, I need to be content, I need to be happy on my own, then the process of reuniting or even making a relationship better is going to be speeded up, right? Instead of me constantly looking at this is very interesting also, that in wisdom of Kabbalah, in the ancient text, there's a lot of use of terms of idols, right? Obviously, we don't have any idols that we bow down to, but actually it doesn't mean physical. It means, for example, in a relationship, you bow down to another person, right? Way more than you need to. That's when you're taking away the universal, the creative force from the relationship. And the relationship has to work when on a triangular level. Kabbalistically, a relationship is based on a triangle, that there's two people, and also there's a creator. There's a unifying force, the unconditional love of a creator, whatever you want to call it. Then the relationship has all the potential it needs to work. But it cannot be that one looks at the other as both, or one looks at the creator only and disregards the other one, or looks at themselves only. So it has to be a balanced flow of energy, and then this relationship can work. But the more you step away from that and realize that, I just need only the A or only the C or only the B or etc., the more disbalance there is in this triangle, the more disbalance there will be in that relationship. So, a mini relationship crash course.
Yeah, so that was perfect, because not only that you answered my question, but you also went a little bit deeper into topic that was our topic today: what works in our lives and what doesn't. And there's so many more layers to it. But the more honest we can be with ourselves, and the more awareness we can have about what is really happening and when do we see. This is just one last thing I want to add to this topic, is that very often we see certain qualities in people because we have it in ourselves. So when we notice there's something going on with another person, it's a really good time to turn the mirror and look inside as well.
Yes, totally. Never be, when you point the finger, three are pointing at you. So don't forget that.
That's right.
Believing somebody, those three other fingers are pointing directly at you. So
Yes, exactly.
don't forget to think
That's
about
a
it.
great one.
Yeah.
Did you guys get it? Whoever just so when you do this, right? When you point the fingers, so these three fingers are pointing at you. So one pointing at somebody else, but three are pointing at you.
Yeah.
So when we see something in somebody else, it's a really good chance that we need to just look inside and see where do we have that, and just how can we adjust. And sometimes when we are able to handle our own things and or these negative traits or blockages, then all of a sudden another person doesn't have it anymore. So
Yeah.
it's
It's not gonna
miraculous.
bother you at least anymore.
Huh?
Or it's not gonna bother you anymore.
Or that's not going to bother you.
And you know, another great question is probably the peak of all the great questions in terms of addictions and what serves us and what doesn't serve you, is to ask, what do I really want from this? What do I really want from this person? What do I really want from this activity? What do I really want from this behavior? What do I really want from this? Why? Well, what's the real? We're, you know, not to go too much into it, but if anybody's interested in studying the wisdom of Kabbalah, by the way, and starting study, we have an amazing opportunity. We have a class starting this Wednesday at 8 p.m. with one of our great teachers, Eitan Yarderli, all online. Pay as much as you can. It's very accessible. So I welcome everyone who hasn't to take that course this Wednesday. You can find more info on Kabbalah.com. But we learn that we are vessels. And, you know, not to go too deep into it, but we're vessels, we're desire. And the more understanding you are of what kind of desires you have, the more understanding and consciousness you're going to have. So ask yourself, what do I really want from this? Just ask the question. You don't have to find the answer right away, by the way. Don't be struggling with, I don't know, I don't understand. Don't worry about it. In question asking, the art is in asking the question, not answering. Your mind will eventually find the answer, will understand. Your job is to proactively ask the question. So ask yourself, what do I really want from this? If I want to be accepted by people, what do I really want from that? If I want to eat another piece of steak, what do I really want from that? What do I really want from not taking care of myself? Why don't I take care of myself? Why don't I have self, care, right? What do I really want from the cigarette, going back to smoking? What do I really want from this conversation, etc.? So asking yourself this question, what do I really want from this? What do you really want from life? Huge question, right? Like, what do you really want from life? Huge question, and hopefully we have answers to that.
This is great. So let's stay curious. Like
Exactly.
Steve Jobs said, right? Let's stay
The more curious, the better. It's a key
The
word.
more curious we are, the better. And I absolutely love, Michael, what you shared. And you guys, I hope that if somebody joined us later, we'll replay it. But it's fascinating, the studies of people Michael shared about cigarettes.
Yes.
When people are small, I did not know that when
Yeah.
people smoke, what they really want, they want an opportunity to meditate,
Yeah.
pause and
Yeah.
meditate.
And the more, in the first study that I shared, the more the person was asking themselves why they're doing it, they eventually stopped it on their own. They were able to control it. It wasn't governing them. It wasn't as if this activity, this behavior is controlling my behavior, right? I had a student, quick story, I had a student in Moscow, and she was a heavy smoker at one point, and up to the point that in when you board smaller planes, you take the bus from the airport and you use the escalator, the stairs to get up. And she knows she can't smoke in the plane. So as she's standing downstairs, as people are boarding, she's having a cigarette, and the security guard runs up there. What are you doing? You're next to an airplane. We can all die and explode. And she was so careless about that. She just needed to fix. That was a tipping point when she understood that she has an addiction. It was like, okay, now I need to change. So, yeah.
So addiction is a great topic, and there's so many layers of it. So maybe we will have a separate conversation about that.
Definitely, yeah.
There's a lot of questions. Do we have a moment for meditation?
Yeah, let's do our meditation. let's bring all this that we spoke about closer to our subconscious, closer to our feelings, closer to the subatomic quantum space that we're in. And it's very simple. You can just listen to my voice, or you can release. The most important thing is to be relaxed. You want to close your eyes. You want to be as relaxed as possible. Take 3 deep breaths with your abdomen and avoid using your chest, shoulders, or upper body for breathing. Only use your abdomen. And focus on visualizing air coming in and going out. And then you want to be very present. Drop into yourself. Drop into your body. Be very aware of your entire body. Even feel the clothing on your skin. And awaken appreciation for existence, appreciation for the force of life that's going through us. Appreciation that we have absolutely no limits besides the ones we place on ourselves. And we want to also be connected to true freedom, true liberation, true breaking free of all limiting beliefs, all limiting practices that prevent us from being who we're meant to be. So if you want a true definition and experience of freedom and liberation on all levels of your consciousness, the true definition, not the one that we assume, but the true definition from the Creator, say yes. Now you want to experience it. Now you want to experience it and see yourself being completely free from people's approval, from physical addictions, from emotional addictions. And experience this feeling of peace, or in Kabbalistic wording, shalom. It comes from the word shalem, which means whole. Feel this completeness. Feel this wholeness. And experience it with every cell of your body. Experience a state of peace, a state of tranquility, serenity with every cell of your body. Feel as every cell in your body is experiencing this emotion. And remember, you can always come back to this. This state, this emotion is yours. It's your birthright. Just by simply closing your eyes, taking deep breaths, visualizing them, you're able to connect to this consciousness and emotion. Be free. Be free to be vulnerable. Be free to be expressive of what you're feeling. Don't let emotion, opinion of others, expectations, disappointments prevent you from living the best life you're meant to live. And the other emotion is love. However, love is a little bit difficult for us to experience. It's easier for us to experience appreciation. So instead of focusing on broadcasting love to every cell of our body, which we want to do, and you want to meditate, and let's meditate to broadcast Creator's unconditional love to every single cell of our body. But also following is the emotion of gratitude and appreciation. So let's experience appreciation for everything. And feel this emotion going through every single cell of our body. Appreciation, gratitude, thankfulness. And appreciation helps us to let go of expectations that either other people or we sometimes don't meet. Appreciation also from the universe, from the Creator, and expectations we have from the universe and the Creator. Appreciate what you have. And let's also send this energy, broadcast this energy to the whole world, to our loved ones, to our friends, to our co-workers, to our neighbors, to the whole world, to the leaders of this world, for them to make better decisions, right decisions that serve humanity as a whole. To nature, to the animal kingdom, plant kingdom, to even the minerals. Everything in this world has consciousness. Everything in this world wants to have more energy of love. Let's send it to everything. And whenever you're ready, you want to just rinse yourself in light and fill yourself with more unconditional love and light of the Creator. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Julia, I can't hear you.
Thank you so much, Michael. I'm adding Mikki. She was in the backstage with us.
Hi, Mikki.
So thank you so much. It's a very important conversation and very beautiful conversation. And it's a way for us to just evaluate this broadcast. Whoever has joined us a little bit later, watch it from the beginning, because this conversation is about evaluating what works for us, what doesn't, and how to connect to the energy of love and how to have internal peace. And this is just a scratch on the surface, because we only have that much time. And if you ever want to study these topics deeper, there are amazing classes that you can do virtually. You can often, like when past COVID, you're going to be able to do it in person. But right now, anybody all over the world can do it virtually, joining Kabbalah classes that are opening every week almost. There's a lot of beautiful classes that expand your consciousness, expand your awareness, and it really truly changes your life. So I am a Kabbalah student for 15 years by now, and I'm a forever student, because this study is about journey of the soul. This study is just your life, like this, but it's a choice how you live it. So amazing classes. I'm the first to testify, and there's a class that's starting Wednesday at 8 o'clock, you said, Michael?
Yes.
And it's pay what you can. So it's
exactly.
You can pay as little as you can or as much as you want to.
Exactly.
So I highly recommend it, because it truly changes lives.
Yes, agree. It changed mine. I testify as well with Julia.
Yeah, I do too. It changed a lot. like I wouldn't be who I am right now if I didn't study it, because the way I choose to live my life has a lot to do with what I've learned studying the Kabbalah and the ancient wisdom that has so much to offer, and there's never enough hours to learn everything. So the sooner we start, the better chances we have to pass it along to others. And
also, I just want to add, it's also very practical. It's not
Very
just
practical.
very theoretical up there, but it's very, very practical. It's very, very hands-on. And I would say, obviously, I wouldn't say everyone, but definitely 90% of people that take the initial course, they start to see changes in their life right away. Just unbelievable. Just amazing.
Because you know why? Because your life is how you see it.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment something shifts in how you see it, all of a sudden you're having different experience of life.
Yes, totally.
So it's very simple, but it's not always so easy to do.
Yeah, agree.
So that's why we need community, we need great class, we need great teachers. So thank you everyone for joining us. If you have any questions whatsoever about classes or about topics or suggestions, please join us.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next Sunday at 12. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Mikki. And thank you, everyone who's watching us on replay or joining us now. If you're watching it on YouTube, join the channel, subscribe so that you can get alerts for our next broadcast. Thank you. Have a beautiful week.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.